Hi everyone, welcome back to day 5 of my 25 days of Christmas. I really hope you guys are enjoying this. I know I am, and we're just getting started. So before we jump into this, if you have not been around for the last few videos, I am doing a new project every single day up until Christmas. So it's really fun, really exciting. Definitely a bunch of holiday projects to kind of get you inspired. Use the materials that you have, purchase some of the new materials that I'm showing you. If you are interested and really like something, you can purchase 24/7 just by going to littlemooncreation.stampinup.net. There's tons and tons and tons of stuff that we are currently offering that will help you create all of your amazing projects during this time. So I really hope you guys are enjoying this. I am super excited, and let's get into today's project. So we are going to be doing a sweet little card featuring really our Peace and Joy bundle, which is the Peace and Joy stamp set and our Joy dies. If you have not seen these, they're really, really, really fun. And it's so easy to make really pretty cards with these. It's just, it works really easily, and everything just kind of comes naturally. So this is the card that we're going to be making. You can absolutely change up the color scheme, change up, instead of peace, you could do another word, you could do another sentiment, tons of different variations of this card, but it's really fun and really simple to do. So let's jump into, whoops, now I'm moving things around. Let's jump into actually creating this. So the first thing that I think I want to do, sorry, I'm trying to move some things out of the way on my desk. The first thing I think I'd want to do is do our die cutting, because that's pretty easy. So I have a few pieces of foil paper here, or foil cardstock. So I have 2 sheets here, and this is of the the real red foil. I have a larger piece and a smaller piece, and we'll talk about those in a second. And then I also have a piece of the, what is this, the brush metallic cardstock. So in the die set, you have 3 words. You have joy, peace, and bright. And for each of those 3 words, you actually have 3 coordinating dies, and they stack into each other and give you this look here. So you can see I have I have red, gold, and then red for my piece, and that's how you do this with the 3 dies. So that's why I have 3 different pieces here. So I kind of have a big piece of red, a medium piece of gold, and a small piece of red. And to just show you the corresponding dies for each of those, because it can be a little confusing, this is the corresponding die for each of those pieces. Now, before we go and cut these out, for the 2 smaller pieces here, if I flip these over, you will see that I actually put some of our adhesive sheet on the back of these. Because they're small, intricate pieces and we're going to be stacking them on top of each other, it really helps to have the adhesive sheet on the back, so when we cut it out, you don't have to worry about glues or anything like that. It just makes it really, really easy. So this is how we're going to cut them. So I'm going to slide those off to the side, bring in my cut and emboss machine, grab my plates, and let's go ahead and start. I'm actually going to flip this over. Let's go ahead and start putting these on there. So again, the big piece of red gets the biggest die. Gold gets the second, gets the middle, and then the smaller red gets the smaller piece. Super easy, just like that. And then I'm going to take my other plate, stick it on top, crank these through, maybe. And like I was saying, you can use this exact same technique for any of the words, any of the stamps that come in this stamp set. It's really easy, really versatile, which is one of the reasons I really like it. So now we are left with our little piece, and I will show you how to put this all together. So if I punch out all of these little pieces here, you will see they stack really, really nicely right on top of each other, just like so. Okay, so you guys can kind of get an idea of what that looks like here. I'll zoom in just a smidge. So you can see, so you get an idea of what that looks like. You would obviously want to pop out the little inner bits. And then because we put those adhesive sheets on the back of these 2 pieces, you just take the adhesive sheet off, stick it down, take the adhesive sheet off, and stick it down. So you guys didn't have to see me fumble around with the adhesive sheets and all of that. I went ahead and just prepped one before I started filming, but that's exactly what I did with this one. I did it the exact same way. Everything was exactly the same. I just did it ahead of time so you didn't have to watch me do it. Now let's move on to doing our embossing. So I'm going to be using the stamp that says On Earth. So our finished product is going to say Peace on Earth. And I'm going to grab my Versamark ink here. This is just a scrap of Whisper White, and I'm going to just stamp On Earth down right there. Close this up. I'm going to grab my gold embossing powder. So we're going for that red and gold theme with this today. And so having that gold embossing powder really just helps bring it all together. So I just sprinkle the embossing powder on, tap, tap, tap it off, and I get to this. I would at this point go ahead and heat set this so that it melts all of that really nice embossing powder. Again, in the interest of saving time, I have actually already gone ahead and heat set one of these little sentiments earlier when I was prepping for this also. So this is what it looks like. It just says On Earth, really, really pretty. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my snips and I'm just going to cut this. So I like to have the little white border around the sentiment, but you don't have to have it. You could cut it right up next to where the embossing powder is, but I just think it looks really nice having that little bit of a border, that little bit of a white border on it. I really like the look of it. So I left it with a border. Now it's really just about putting this card together. So I'm going to take my piece of Whisper White here, and let me zoom out for just a sec. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my piece here. I'm actually going to turn it a little bit so it's kind of going at a bit of an angle, and you'll see that it just looks really nice when we put the On Earth right there. So I'm kind of trying to get an idea of where exactly I want that to be, because I'm going to grab my Cherry Cobbler ink, and then these couple of stamps here, they're really cute. They just have kind of like a burst. So this one is a full kind of star, and then this one just has a couple of little like bursts with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, with my hand, I'm just going to hold down where the piece is, and I'm going to take the like little tiny one and just put a couple bursts around the piece, just so that it kind of looks like it was done like all around this, right? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bigger one, and I am just going to stamp this all over. And I should have grabbed a background piece to stamp off on, but I didn't because I wasn't really thinking. So that wasn't very smart of me, because now I'm just going to stamp all over my desk, but that's okay. We will survive. And I'm just going to kind of go crazy with this. Actually, I have this piece that I embossed on. There we go. Or that I didn't emboss on, that I used for my embossing powder. So again, and now I know that like my little piece fits right in there really nicely. If I wanted to grab my On Earth just so that I could kind of gauge where exactly I don't want to stamp, I can do that too. So you can kind of get an idea. And again, I haven't secured these pieces down yet. You could. I just find that I'm going to put them up on dimensionals. And so when you're stamping around dimensionals, it can get a little tricky because it has that dimension. Sometimes I find that I'm like really sticking down the dimensional and it loses a little bit of its dimension. Or I have a hard time getting a nice, crisp, clean image because it has that dimension. So I just opt to not stick anything down quite yet. So I'm picking this up now, just so you guys know what I'm doing. I'm picking this up to kind of look at it and see if I feel like anything is missing, and I think I want one right up here. So that's kind of how I approach it though. I wait until the very end, and just kind of having the pieces laying loosely on my actual piece of my actual card layer doesn't really affect me very much. I think it works it's really fine. It's not that big of a deal. So speaking of that, we're going to start attaching everything. So I want to actually take this piece here and I'm going to attach it to my card base. This is thick Whisper White. All of the specific dimensions for all of paper sizes and all of that good stuff will be in the coordinating blog post, which is the first link in the description box below. So if you want to know all of the exact paper sizes that I used and whatnot, I would go there, because that is going to be where you can get all of that information. Oh my gosh, and oh no, I didn't cut this wrong. I was going to say this totally is not the right size. It is. So now I'm just going to line this up with my card base, just like that. And it's going to, I did this piece, the piece of Whisper White was 5.5 by 4 1/4. So it fits perfectly over the entire card base. Again, I've done this quite a few times. It's one of my favorite looks for cards recently. If you want to, you could just stamp directly onto your card base. I just like the feel of having a card base and then a layer on top of it. It's just a personal preference, but you could absolutely do it another way. So now we are going to grab some dimensionals. I'm going to be using both mini dimensionals and regular dimensionals to put my pieces onto my card base here. And you guys know me, I go dimensional crazy. So I'm just getting a bunch of dimensionals, and then I'm going to stick my piece down first. And again, I kind of have my guidelines of where I want it to go because I did those little bursts before. So I kind of know, hey, here's the rough area of where I'd like it to be. Then I'm going to take a couple mini dimensionals, and on my on Earth piece, I am going to stick a couple of the mini dimensionals down on the back here. I love both regular and mini dimensionals. Oh, look, see, I did get ink on my desk. They work so well together. It makes it really, really easy. So then I'm going to stick that down right there. And that is our card for today, you guys. Really quick, really simple, but really, really, really beautiful, especially with all of the foil. This card is so quick and easy to put together, and it just packs such a punch. It's really, really gorgeous and super breathtaking. So I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. As always, you can find all of the products that I talked about by going to the coordinating blog post, which is the first link in the description box below. Everything that I have talked about can be purchased on my online store just by going to littlemooncreation.stampinup.net. And you can also just visit littlemooncreation.com to see all of the fun stuff that I'm up to over there. If you've missed a couple days of my 25 days of Christmas, definitely go and check that out because they'll all be there. And yeah, so I really hope you guys are enjoying this. Just as a reminder, I do have a couple of giveaways going on that are going to be ending. I think one ends today and one ends tomorrow. So if you are interested, make sure you go back to those previous videos and check those out so that you can make sure you are entered into the giveaway. So I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and I will see you tomorrow for day 6.